What's going on, fellas? We got bit of a snoozer. Carolina, Chicago. I mean, there's like what 3 fantasy relevant players in this game, but we're going to talk about it. Of course, we're going to be firing away here. What's up, Danny?
Hear me out. Am I just a sicko just to see like what the ground games look like on both sides, man? Like this. I have Deontay Foreman in one league and Chuba in another. That's why I'm like a little bit excited. But dude, you can't ask for a more like once we're inside the 5, we're just giving it to our hammer like more type of matchup than this.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a decision involving not Deontay Foreman. I have a decision involving Chuba Hubbard in our listener league right now. I got to decide between starting Chuba tonight or starting Cortland Sutton on Monday.
Give me Chuba.
Yeah, I think that's probably the direction I'm leaning. But the Bills Broncos game's got some decent heat on the over, and also it's a pretty good matchup for the Broncos wide receivers as well. Honestly, dude, I think I might leave Chuba on the bench.
I mean, you could. I'm screwed this week in that league. Have you seen my team?
Yeah, your whole team's on bye.
And Jefferson's hurt. So like I don't have a team. Like I have Roschon Johnson in my lineup tonight because literally like I have nothing else and the waiver wire is decimated in that league.
Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna leave Chuba on the bench. That one could come back to bite me, but I'm gonna leave him on the bench. I think Sutton's a better play.
Interesting. By the way, so we'll obviously go to the top, but I just want to answer this now because it is a fascinating conundrum. Obviously, with Khalil Herbert ruled out for this game, Chuba or Foreman tonight, and alluding to that, with Khalil Herbert out of this game, like Deontay Foreman's got to be in the RB2 ranks.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of if you go to the DraftKings like betting markets or whatever, they have Foreman's
58.5
under on rushing yards set for like 62.5, but
yeah,
it's like minus 150 on the under. So that obviously means that people are hammering the under on the spread there. I'm a little nervous. The Panthers have been much better against the run the last 2 games. They slowed down the Colts. They slowed down. I can't remember the other team that they played the last couple of weeks, but they've been holding running
Texans.
backs like 2.5 yards a carry since their bye, since their bye week or whatever before their bye.
The only counterpoint is one of those games was against the Texans, who can't run.
That's
the ball
fair.
at all.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And they can't really run the ball to save their lives, which also makes what CJ Stroud is doing that much more impressive. That Pierce and Singletary are completely useless on the ground.
One-dimensional offense right now. So what
it's the worst rushing offense in the NFL, right?
Oh, bar none.
Like, and the Bucs are like really bad, and I say that like the Texans just like physically cannot run the football.
So I was working through my bucketed dynasty rankings, and we alluded to it before, but I have CJ Stroud now over Trevor Lawrence and Anthony Richardson. And I understand it's a hot take. That's more so based on the marketing implications of it, knowing that if he has an all-time rookie year, like there's a chance he's in the Herbert tier. So I'm just baking that in right now. I think you have to put him above that group.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lawrence runs a little bit more, which is something that is a little underrated about him. I would still take Lawrence, but I think it's like they're in the same tier. It's a reasonable conversation.
Yeah, and again, the only reason I would put like Stroud a little bit higher right now is just knowing that like if he goes out in his rookie year, throws like 25 touchdowns, 3 picks, looks efficient, offensive rookie of the year, like the market is going to overreact.
Yeah, no, that's
or
fair.
React accordingly. You know what I mean? It's going to react.
Yeah. When you're that young and you had like projected a bad situation coming into the season, it's definitely encouraging. And I seriously hope that Frank Reich is one and done in Carolina, or else I'm quite worried about Bryce Young, because I think the difference in Bryce Young and CJ Stroud right now, like honest to God, like I really don't think there was all that much of a difference from a talent perspective coming out. And I don't think CJ Stroud has gotten that much better since he's been in the NFL. But I think the DeMeco Ryans led coaching staff might be on track to win coach of the year right now. And Frank Reich might be the stone worst coach in the NFL right now.
It's funny. Were you able to watch JT O'Sullivan's breakdown of the Panthers and Bryce Young?
I haven't watched it. No.
It might be one of the funniest things you'll ever watch. There was a play in particular where he was like, this is like when you're in high school and people are playing 3 levels up. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? And he like highlights how like the center and the right guard literally mess up a double team and he gets instant pressured by the interior defensive lineman on a double team assignment. Like how do you give up a pressure to a guy when you're literally double teaming center to right guard? I don't know. And then he's like, also, can we point out the fact that there's just absolutely like zero fucking movement from these receivers? Like nobody in this wide receiver core has juice right now, and you would think that Mingo would bring that to the table, but that just kind of goes to show you that his mental processing might not be right there, even though he's that physical, big receiver that can contribute in that regard. If he's not understanding the game, he's not going to get to the right spots.
Yeah, if only we could have all predicted that, except if you watched him at Ole Miss, you would have known that was exactly what was going to happen with him in the NFL. He's going to like challenge the face planner narrative, because I think if he could develop, he might be like in year 2 a lot better than he is in year 1. But like, I knew he was going to nobody should have expected him to just like hit the ground running. Like he just was not the type of prospect that was going to do that. Like the type of prospect that was going to do that was somebody productive at a young age for multiple years, like Tank Dell or Josh Downs, not like Jonathan Mingo. Like Jonathan Mingo, if he does hit, will have a career arc of like Nico Collins.
Yeah, no, 100%. And real quick, I want to highlight this as well. Brock says a good point. Imagine this could have all been avoided if at the deadline, the Panthers just traded Brian Burns to the Rams for their 2 first-round picks. They could have used those picks to instead go get their quarterback, and their quarterback would have had a number 1 wide receiver. So a little bit of a vent right now, because it's like, how are you going to put Bryce Young in that disadvantageous a spot? But I mean, who knows? Maybe he just goes out and he balls out tonight, and Jonathan Mingo just has like 8 targets turned into like 75 receiving yards. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty shocking to me. Let's get to some of the super chats here. We got Benjamin says half PPR, start 1 at flex, Addison, Kincaid, and Gabe Davis. I know my answer to this, and I guarantee it's different than yours.
Kincaid.
Davis is my answer to this.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Kincaid straight up over Davis.
Yeah, I mean, Kincaid is a great option, and like I think that would be the discussion. I don't really want to mess with Jordan Addison going up against the Saints secondary. The reason I say Davis is one of my favorite options here is because the pass defense versus opposing number 2 wide receivers, the Denver Broncos rank second last in the NFL. So if, Diggs is going to be on Surtain 65, 70% of the time when he's on the outside, not in the slot, that should open up some opportunities for Gabe Davis to potentially have a bounce back game. I know he had like 0 points last week, but he had like 32 weeks ago. That's just who Gabe Davis is. You're going to have to live with the ups and downs. And in half PPR leagues, especially, Kincaid loses a little bit of value relative to Gabe Davis, who's more of a touchdown, big play threat. So I would go with Gabe Davis there, but Kincaid and Davis would be pretty close.
I mean, doesn't Kincaid in his last 3 games have 2? He's got 1 touchdown. Okay, fair.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting peppered with targets, but he is more appealing in PPR than he is in half PPR.
I mean, for the record, this isn't us just like getting. I don't know, man. I would still go Addison over Davis. That's same tier. I'm doing the rankings video for tomorrow. That's game environment on one hand. Like this seems like the script for Gabe Davis, but at the same time, actually trusting
Gabe Davis is pretty predictable, dude. When you can sense a Gabe Davis game coming, he usually he delivers. Like he doesn't do well in games that you don't think he's going to do well in.
You could have said that this past week would have been that script. High over-under game, going to play Cincinnati. Obviously, this is a narrative, but, a little bit of a revenge game there. Obviously, they knocked out the Bills in the playoffs this past year. And then he goes out and has 2 targets and puts up a goose egg. So
that's fair, but the Bills notoriously just absolutely struggle against Cincinnati. Fair. And you could have maybe seen that coming. And also, the Bills beat the crap out of bad teams, and the Broncos are a pretty bad team. So I think, that one would be a complete toss-up. Maybe we've been of absolutely no help to you, Benjamin, but I would go Gabe Davis there, and I'm assuming Danny would go Dalton Kincaid when all said and done.
I would go Kincaid, and when it comes to Dalton Kincaid, I mean, he's my tight end, too, on the week.
Yeah, he's my tight end, too, also.
For reference, that's mostly because Andrew's playing the Browns, but still.
I have Andrews at 1.
Oh, I have Laporte at 1.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I have Laporte at
top 3, though. That's top 3, yeah.
Christian says, just traded Addison and Barkley for JJ and Connor, full PPR. Already clinched playoffs. So, I mean, if you've already clinched playoffs, that means you're probably like 9-0 or 8-1 or something like that. We'll have JJ, Lamb, White, JT, Connor, Kyler, and McBride as starters, considering trading JJ
that last sentence.
I mean, no, hold on to Justin Jefferson, dude. You're going to want to hold on to him. Honestly, this might sound like an outrageous take. Is there a difference between James Conner and Saquon Barkley rest of the season?
I don't think there's much, assuming Connor's healthy.
Like, assuming Connor is back Probably next week. It doesn't sound like
where
he's
do you have?
back this week. It's possible he's back this week. But
There's been negative reports. I thought he came back to practice.
he did come back to practice, but I think it's more likely he's back next week than he is this week.
Okay.
But we'll see. Yeah, I mean,
Assuming
I think it's possible that he could play this week.
Assuming he plays, where are you ranking him against the Falcons?
He'd probably be in the like high end RB2 range, I think, or mid RB2 range. Like I think he's going to walk right back into his workload. I don't think he's going to really get eased in at all. And like, I mean, we have Kyler Murray back now, right? Obviously. So that's going to be an impact for Connor's scoring ability. And he was playing pretty well before he got injured too.
Not to mention, I mean, you could make the case that JJ on his own, knowing that his practice window's opened up and he's going to return in the next 3 weeks,
that he's worth Addison and Barkley combined.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like where I had Barkley ranked in the rest of season rankings videos, but like, I mean, I'm telling you guys,
I have him low too, man.
Wait until like some people are like, how could you have Saquon in like the 20s? I'm like, wait until he goes 24 for 46 yards and no touchdowns this week.
We saw
Tommy DeVito scoring 6 points.
Dude, we saw what it kind of looked like. What was it against the Raiders? Didn't he have like 36 carries and like he was the most inefficient thing I've ever seen? Against the Jets, 36 carries, 128 yards, and he had 41 opportunities in the game, for fuck's sakes, man. But it doesn't matter because of how bad the team is. When can you ever say that about any other situation?
Yeah, no, dude, Saquon is literally getting fed the ball and can't do anything with it right now because the offense can't move the ball at all.
And I guess like you can argue based off the workload alone, he should probably be more so in the top 15 range. But I'm also baking in the fact that his body just doesn't fucking hold up to 30 opportunities a game. Like,
yeah, literally. Like it's really hard to imagine he's just going to have 25 carries a game the rest of the season. Because like that's the only way they're going to score like 10 points is if Barkley just breaks off a long run or something.
Like, dude, listen to these opportunity counts since he came back from his injury in week 6. 29 against Buffalo, 25 against Washington, 41 against New York, and 20 against the Raiders. Like, bro,
that is a lot. That's a lot of mileage that he's about to take in there. Carlos says, "Sup guys, traded Ridley for Javonte. Thoughts?" I think it's probably a wash. Like you got a wide receiver 2 type for an RB2 type, and the ceiling of this trade I still think favors Ridley, but Javonte Williams has a pretty high rest of season ceiling in his own right, especially if the Broncos are able to kind of turn it around a little bit. They've looked a little better on defense, which in turn helps the run game because they'll stay closer in games. They won't get blown out by some teams. So yeah, I think that's a pretty solid move. I personally prefer Ridley slightly, but I think it's close.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got it
at the top here. So
our Gravy says K9 worries me. Pick 2 half PPR, Javonte, K9, and Foreman.
So I don't think Kenneth Walker did practice in full today. So everybody was worried he had like a chest injury on yesterday's injury report and didn't practice. I think he'll be fine, to be honest. So I would probably still play Kenneth Walker. But it's pick 2, so I'm sitting Foreman here. Like I'm going Javonte and Kenneth Walker.
Half PPR, I want to run that bet. Foreman versus
Foreman
versus Javonte for Javonte.
Foreman versus Javonte.
K9's my one here.
Foreman, 100%.
Sounds good. For reference, I have Deontay at 18 and Javonte at 19, but I just kind of want to make a bet.
Yeah, I mean, I have Foreman at 20, and then I have Javonte at 14, and Kenneth Walker.
Oh, wow. So you have Javonte just a lot higher. Okay, I have, again, they're 18 and 19 for me. So, like, in a tier with, like, Ramondre. Honestly, I'm probably lowering Saquon below these guys, too.
Yeah, I have Saquon at 19, dude.
Yeah, I moved him to 20. Him versus Rashad White's a discussion, to be honest. Actually, I have
White at 13.
You have White against Tennessee.
Yeah, he's good catches. He has like 6 targets a game, dude. I don't care what his fucking rushing matchup is. He's going to be terrible against a good rushing defense.
Fair. That's actually a good point. But yeah, I think he's more so saying this because Kenneth Walker, in the last couple of weeks, like Zach Charbonnet has gotten more usage. I want to see it in a non-implicated game script because we've kind of seen, this past week, for example, Baltimore absolutely just took it to the Seahawks. So I just want to see, like, with him fully healthy in a proper neutral game script, like, is Charbonnet getting this type of work? Because if Charbonnet is going to continue to fetch 50+% of the work, even 45+% of the work, you got to downgrade Kenneth Walker a good bit, especially with Geno not looking like the Geno that we saw last year and the offense predictably, regressing to a certain bit. Because we saw last year that this offense, had this top 10 ceiling. I'm a little bit more disappointed now. I'm a little bit more cautious. I'm a little bit more pessimistic about it moving forward because, again, Geno just doesn't look like the same quarterback.
Yeah, Geno was what, like the second highest graded quarterback in the NFL for like half of the season last year at this point in the
Yeah.
year. He's like the 16th highest graded quarterback right now. Like
Yeah, like
he's
he's a
not a needle
solid
mover. He's
quarterback, but
performing at the level of like Derek Carr or Deshaun Watson right
yeah.
now. Like that's how he's performing. It's not like he's not performing at the level that we saw from him previous.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, people were, including myself, like I thought he was going to be ready to potentially be in that fringe, top 10 to
Well,
12 quarterback in real life standing.
It's
But
hard not to have a good outlook when you have 2 great running backs and 3 great wide receivers.
yeah, no, for sure. I just meant in terms of like real life standing. Like I thought he was like well within like that Kirk Cousins area, but it's clear this year that he's not close to that yet.
Can
Or
I make an
really
addendum
ever.
to Kirk Cousins? Can we stop putting guys in the Kirk Cousins range who are good for 1 year because Kirk Cousins is good every year? Like
Yeah.
maybe he's
Oh, that's
better
fair.
than people think. Like I think we're ready to just like the second somebody has like a middling like 28 touchdown season, they're like, "Oh, he's as good as Kirk Cousins." Except Kirk Cousins does that every year instead of just
No,
like
I agree.
one-off seasons where Derek Carr's done it like once and like Geno Smith's done it like once. Like we should maybe just put some respect on Kirk Cousins.
Oh, I agree. I mean, like he's probably the most underrated quarterback in the NFL right now because people talk about him like, oh, you must replace him, quarterback purgatory. It's like, no, like he's a fine top 9 to 12 area right now. Like assuming Rodgers is
If you
like
dropped him on the
banged up.
49ers offense, he could probably win the Super Bowl, to be honest. It's just, so
Yeah, probably win it.
you need better talent around the guy. He has talent enough on offense to win with the Vikings. It's just the defense
I
up
mean,
until this year was just completely useless.
the 49ers are one of the Super Bowl favorites right now with Brock Purdy, and I can tell you right now that Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins
People
is
might
definitely a better quarterback than Brock
people
Purdy.
might disagree with that, but like
I
don't
like
even
Brock
think
Purdy.
that's a hot
I'm the
take.
Brock Purdy guy, and I think that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
Hollywood or DJ Moore? This is Hollywood Brown, not even close, dude. I have Hollywood Brown inside like my top 17 receivers this week. Dude, Hollywood Brown. Can you guess Hollywood Brown's target share?
I have DJ Moore very high.
Revenge game narrative?
A little bit baked in.
Yeah, I mean,
for what it's
they're
worth, I
actually
have
closer
Marquise
than I
top
thought.
20.
When I went and looked at them, they're actually closer than I thought. I have DJ Moore at 20, and I have Marquise Brown at 18. So they are really close. But
I just have DJ Moore a lot higher than you.
yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of weather implications by the sounds of it in this game tonight. And Marquise Brown has a 30% target share this year, and Kyler Murray's coming back.
Dude, he's my wide receiver 20. I'm fully on board. It's just try to sort through the wide receiver 11 to 20 range this week.
This week?
This week.
Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty good outlooks, to be honest.
They are, but I'm saying, like, is there really any separation between Mike Evans versus Marquise Brown or Chris Olave versus Amari Cooper or Terry McLaurin versus DJ Moore?
Like, I have Calvin Ridley and Drake London up there too. Like those guys are like like in the mid 20s, and like they're still like kind of right in that range. Like Drake London sounds like he's going to be fully healthy. Like you can make the argument to start him over like Terry McLaurin, who I have at 16.
London doesn't even have the Q tag. Yeah, I have McLaurin at 17, Metcalf at 16, Olave at 15, Pittman at 14. This is what I was going to say. I have DJ Moore at 12 this week, but I genuinely feel like the 11 to 20 range, like you could pick them out of a hat.
Okay, so for that reason, because they're all blending together, I think you should factor in the fact that there's maybe weather implications, and one of them is playing with Tyson Bagent. These other guys like Christian Kirk and these other guys play with better quarterbacks.
Yeah, I should probably lower him a little bit.
But I mean, revenge game is revenge game if that's what you're going with.
Like, I'm gonna put Deontay Johnson at 12 because that was the guy I had directly after him. I mean, the targets have just been absolutely massive.
Yeah, they've been great.
I'm gonna have DJ Moore at 15 behind Chris Olave. Yeah, that's. You guys are gonna see it on tomorrow's video. Like, it's literally almost impossible to cycle through that range this week because your typical mid to high end or mid to low end wide receiver 2s are going to be your high end wide receiver 2s this week because the Miami Dolphins, the not the LA Rams, the Eagles, and their KC
Chiefs
are all on bye. So it's like obviously not KC, but you're looking at the other options. How many top 20 receivers alone are on those teams?
Yeah, AJ Brown, Waddle,
Tyreek Hill,
and
Devontae Smith,
and Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Like that's like 6 receivers that would be inside the top 15 to 18 receivers on any given week. The tough thing for me, like when I'm ranking wide receivers, I honestly just like they all blend together. So I'll lean target share in one instance, I'll lean game environment in another. Like it's kind of just like up in the air because like realistically, like Drake London, who I have at 24 right now, could be like wide receiver 9 on the week, and I wouldn't be shocked. Like the Cardinals are horrible against the pass, so I moved London up a little bit.
Fair. Ridley for Montgomery better. I would prefer Montgomery to Javonte, and I probably would take Montgomery over Ridley.
Yeah, I would take Montgomery over Ridley, to be honest.
I have Ridley. I have Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both in my top 12 this week PPR.
Yeah,
Against LA.
I mean, if you're talking about I think he's talking about a trade because he asked
I know
Ridley for Javonte.
Oh no, I'm just saying like that was just to give confidence to Dave. Montgomery.
Yeah. Like Montgomery to me, I have as a top 12 to 13 running back rest of the season. So like I would prefer Montgomery to Ridley because I think Ridley's more in the like wide receiver 18 range.
Fair. Appreciate the super sticker. Keith says, who to flex, Deontay or Amari? Give me Deontay Johnson, man.
Yeah, I have Deontay higher than Amari Cooper this week. Amari Cooper against the Ravens secondary, they've been so strong against the pass. So I'd probably just use that as a tiebreaker and go with Deontay Johnson.
For what it's worth, since Deontay Johnson came back from injury, he has commanded 29 targets in those 3 games. Crazy. So, I mean, he's the clear alpha. I mean, 79 yards, 85 yards, 90 yards. Does score his first touchdown since, 2021 this past week, too?
Which is weird. Is also like the yardage is also surprising because last year as a Deontay Johnson manager, man, his yardage totals were like he'd have 9 receptions for 43 yards every week.
He was literally just Yinzer Jarvis Landry last year.
He was like literally he was a walking 9 for 43 and 0 every single game on 13 targets.
9 for 43 is crazy.
That's literally what he would do every game last year. Ask any Deontay Johnson manager if that's what his stat lines looked like.
Dude, well, I see a 5 for 35, a 4 for 21. Dear God, this is week 18, turning in 10 targets for 2 for 38. That is freaking insane.
Yeah. Benjamin says half PPR 12 team Rashad for London, Rashad plus Waddle for ETN. I like Rashad plus Waddle for ETN better than Rashad for London, but I do prefer London to Rashad regardless. Have Laporta, Kincaid, and loaded at wide receiver and running back. What running back / wide receiver can I get for a tight end plus a wide receiver 1 or running back 1? So it looks like you have Waddle and Rashad. I would sell high on Rashad White for starters because he's the guy that I would go after. Or
can you take Rashad? So
you can sell Rashad White and Sam Laporta for Travis Kelce potentially. Like I don't know. You should be able to get to somebody pretty strong at tight end.
You don't even need to buy a tight end.
Or sorry, you have Kincaid already, so you could maybe go after. I'm saying like Rashad White plus Sam Laporta gets you to
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. I was gonna say maybe even Eckler, but Jonathan Taylor, maybe Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Bijan Robinson, maybe. Go after a wide receiver type like Cooper Kupp, potentially, or like Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, probably in that range. You could probably get to. So that would be my direction there.
What's up, Nate? 3 of these guys half PPR: Hubbard, Madison, Gabe Davis, Nico Collins, even though he hasn't practiced last 2 days, and Charbonnet, also Keaton Mitchell. So for starters, with Nico Collins, he's not touching my lineup until I at least see him practice. But even
so you have to play Hubbard because you don't know if
Hubbard, Gabe Davis are the locks. And then if Nico Collins plays, you put Nico Collins in.
Yeah, I would say that's your thing there. And if Collins is out, obviously you can just play Madison. That would be what I would do.
Yep.
JH says Antonio Gibson or Roshan Johnson. Ugh, yikes.
I go Roshan because Herbert's out.
Irv Smith is the easy answer there because Higgins for sure looks like he's going to be out, and Chase might be out also. So Tyler Boyd and Irv Smith might have to be sneaky options this week. And then with the first question, I probably lean Gibson. His role has been more predictable week over week.
I'll tell you why. In terms of the breakdown of the offense, they are running so many more wide receivers on the field than they were at the start of the year. So at the start of the year, like we were seeing the tight ends being used crazily.
It's so annoying, dude. Watching Jahan Dotson get like 4 targets every game.
So the reason why Gibson has seen a lot more value relative to Brian Robinson is that they kind of know they can't run the football at this point. So they're just going with the strength of the offense. They're getting the wide receivers on the field. Obviously, Sam Howell's throwing the ball 40, 45 times a game. Well,
they're also losing most of the time, which is where Gibson comes in too.
Well, that too.
And they're playing the Seahawks. The Seahawks? The Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
They're playing the Seahawks this week. And the Seahawks are, I think, 6-point favorites or something like that. They're like a pretty decent sized favorite.
It's going to happen again because, Antonio Gibson, if they're throwing the ball 40, 45, 50 times a game, Antonio Gibson's the receiving back. So if he's getting 5 to 8 targets, yes, he can only have 5 to 6 carries. He's literally just Redux JD McKissick. That is what he is.
Dude, you're going to hate this one. He's Redux Jahmyr Gibbs, bro.
Relax.
Once Montgomery's back on the field, he's Redux Junior.
We already have steak on that. We already have steak. No.
Yeah,
no
Goat No Billy, great PFP there. Any Kenneth Walker injury update? Okay, so the injury update is that he's back at practice in full today. So if you guys have Kenneth Walker, I probably wouldn't be overly concerned from a health standpoint. Zach Charbonnet obviously would be a top. How high would Charbonnet rank if Kenneth Walker was out this week?
Top 12 running back.
I would start him over Tony Pollard, dude. As like my RB.
That's probably right the cutoff there, yeah.
Like he'd be a great option.
Mid to back and RB1. Dude, I hope so. I have him in my home league.
I have him in my home league too, so I'm hoping this happens as well because I'm going to be without T. Higgins by the looks of it. But thank God I've hand-cucked myself and I have Tyler Boyd on my roster also. So it looks like I got the I think it might be one of the only situations around the NFL that you could say is an actual wide receiver handcuff situation is the Tyler Boyd, if one of the other guys is out, is probably a wide receiver handcuff.
Well, the reason why is because Tyler Boyd's actually a decent player. Like, he's a decent player. The problem is he's kind of just accepted his role. Like, yeah, if Higgins and Chase are on the field, like, I'm not getting the football. But guess what? You need me on a crucial 3rd and 7 to, catch a drag and just get there, like, over the line, reach the ball. Like, I'm going to be able to do that for you. He's just a dependable
there's a couple,
wide receiver.
Number 3 receivers around the league that have like little dual handcuff value. Like Curtis Samuel is another guy too that probably has that kind of appeal if Jahan Dotson or McLaurin ever missed a game. But yeah, Boyd will probably find his way inside my top like 40 receivers or top 36 receivers this week.
Yeah.
If like again, I think Higgins for sure is going to be out. He was downgraded to a limited yesterday and he didn't practice today.
Yep, for sure. So we'll get through the super sticker and super chat, and then we'll try to rip off as many as possible. Full PPR, I'm 3-6, unfortunately. Just traded Bijan, Tyreek for JT and Diggs. So let's evaluate that real quick.
Probably a wash, to be honest.
I want Bijan and Tyreek, man.
I think I slightly
Bijan and Tyreek, man.
JT and Diggs, to be honest, because I think the risk
I view
factor,
Tyreek as the best player in the deal.
He is, but Diggs is like honestly like a 1 point per game difference. Like he's so good still. And
he's awesome. It's just
carries way less risk profile than Bijan Robinson. That's the way I look at it. And I like, again, you guys know how much I love Bijan. Like he's a great fucking player. But the easiest way to lose this deal is getting the Bijan that we've seen the last couple weeks.
Yeah, fair. I mean, if you're playing for like, if you're playing for like, the middle range of outcome, yes. But if Bijan smashes,
you can't use that argument because Bijan, yes, he has this like untapped ceiling and shit, but Jonathan Taylor is still better.
JT's a stud.
I would still rather have Jonathan Taylor straight up over Bijan.
Dude, JT's a stud. I'm also baking in the fact that Tyreek Hill is probably the number 1 or number 2 player in fantasy. Like as much as I love Stephon
Diggs, if we redraft it, would be the next pick.
He's averaging 3 points per game more.
That's fair.
I think
I don't know, dude. I think Diggs versus Tyreek and Bijan versus JT, that's literally a wash. That's like my RB 5 and 6 rest of the season and my wide receiver 1 and 2.
I don't know, man.
And we're high on Bijan, right? Like a lot of people wouldn't have Bijan still at 6. They'd have him at like 9 or 11 or something like that.
Fair. Had Kupp and Tyreek on bye this. Okay, so you had Tyreek on bye. Okay, and then I like it more because you need to win anyway.
Diggs still has his bye week to come up. But you do offload. I think JT has had his bye already, hasn't he?
No, he hasn't. Week 11.
No, he hasn't either. So I mean, Bijan hasn't had his either. So
also Hollywood
you
or
offload
Tank
Tyreek's bye week at least.
Hollywood or Tank Dell's a flex. Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood by a landslide there.
Yeah. That was interesting though. Like that. It's a decent trade when we're both.
It's just a wash, honestly. Like when you're trading like elite RB who's slightly different than other elite RB, and then elite wide receiver who's slightly different than other elite wide receiver. Like it's pretty much just a wash.
Fair. Standard league start sit Heineke, Levis, Flex, Algier, Najee, Judy. So right off the back, the quarterback is Heineke, and right off the bat, the flex I think is Najee Harris.
Yeah,
standard
probably.
league?
In standard, I'm going to lean running back over wide receiver most of the time, and Najee has the biggest workload of this group. So yeah, I would say
for what
Najee's
it's worth,
the guy there.
For what it's worth, I actually
don't say it. Don't say Najee's been good.
No. I mean, like he's not been bad. I was gonna say I actually don't hate Algier in that game script against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I don't hate it either,
but
I think I'd probably prefer Harris because I mean both guys are like just you need them to score. Like that's pretty much what's gonna happen. I'll take the guy who's more of like a 55% of his backfield.
I have Najee higher. He's my RB 21, and Algier's my RB 27.
Yeah, Packers and Steelers is the definition of like a 20-17 drizzler where only
2
running
rushing
backs score the
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
You know, AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones are getting 1 apiece, and then Najee is gonna like get a 1-yard touchdown, and he's either gonna get
Warren will
another
score
touchdown.
from 12 yards out too in the game. Like it'll be 4 touchdowns total in the game. Najee, Warren, AJ Dillon, and Jones will each get 1.
Yeah. By the way, on this question, it's actually interestingly close. I would go with Tank, but like
I want Dotson in full PPR. Tank's more of a big play guy.
They're both same range for me. They're both top 36
like
guys.
These guys are both pretty good options this week though, so I'm not
Tank's wide receiver 29 and Jahan. Actually, no, I do have Dotson's 28, Tank is 29, bro. So I do have Dotson 1 spot higher.
I have him 32 and 33, so I have him back to back as well.
So you have Davis over, you have Pickens over, you have Sutton over.
Yeah, I should actually probably move Zay Flowers over below both of them though.
Yeah, Zay's at my 34 spot.
Yeah, I got to move Zay down a little because of the matchup there.
Yeah. All right, so we're caught up there. Let's smash through some comments and
okay. Need to drop either Leonard Fournette or Keaton Mitchell. What would you need to see by Sunday to keep Lombardi Lenny? I mean, he would need to be active for starters, which it doesn't look like he's going to be yet. I would drop Fournette over Keaton Mitchell.
I would too. A and B, he also plays on Monday, so you won't even know that by Sunday.
Right. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson or Jalen Warren if Nico Collins is out. I would roll with Dotson personally.
Yeah, same.
Hold Zach Moss or Keaton Mitchell. You can drop Zach Moss.
Yeah, I agreed. Half PPR pick 2 to start.
Half PPR pick 2 to start. Foreman, Javonte, K9. I think. Well, he already supered that question, but we said Javonte and K9. Ravens D against the Browns or Jets defense against the Raiders.
Jets.
Yeah, I think I'd roll. I think I'd roll Jets, but like literally both of these defenses are probably top 6 plays.
Yeah, agreed.
Kyler over Carr and Russ if I have the Hollywood stack. Yeah, I mean Kyler doesn't sound like he's going to have any limitations, so yeah, I'd play Kyler.
Agreed.
Michael says, by the way, I like how the new format of the matchups video has names and looks more professional. Yeah, so it was kind of I was surprised. I thought everybody would really like seeing the players as opposed to, seeing the matchup charts or whatever, but it sounds like a lot of you guys did like seeing the data. And if you do want to still see the data, you can just, get the weekly rankings available on our site as well as via an Underdog sign up as well. So if you still want to see the data, you can see it all in the weekly rankings tab with our weekly rankings and all those matchup charts. But I think I'm going to stick with the graphics going forward because I think it's a little bit more easy to understand. And also like it seemed like more people were confused about the charts than it's been so far. More people saying that they preferred the charts. So I'm just kind of using that as a tiebreaker. But either way, like the numbers from the charts are making up the graphics. Like I'm literally pulling the same exact information as I was before. The top 5 quarterback matchups in the charts, top 5 quarterbacks in the graphic. It's the same players it would have been before.
Yeah. I mean,
Kyler Murray or Trevor Lawrence this week.
Let me see where I have them ranked.
I actually got to look too. I don't really know which one I lean there.
Trevor at
I have
10 and Kyler at 11.
Higher, but that is close, man.
Trevor?
And it's 10 and 11 for me as well.
Wait, we have them in the same spot. Who do you have at 9?
Jared Goff.
I have Howell. Wait, okay. I got to adjust Goff down. Why the fuck is he? Okay.
I mean, he's in a good spot. It's like a 47-point over-under game. But I think the reason I always tend to move Goff down a little bit is because the running backs get the touchdowns in Detroit usually.
Yeah, that actually is fair.
That's usually why I don't put Goff as high. Like he's always like a safe, like low end QB1 play in a good matchup. But I would prefer Howell and Purdy to him.
I was gonna ask. You have Howell at 8 then?
I have Howell at 7. I have Purdy at 8.
Fair enough. I have Purdy at 7. Howell at 8. I just moved Goff down to quarterback. To quarterback 8. I have Howell at 9. CJ Stroud at 6. Lamar at 5. Dak at 4. Herbert at 3. Burrow at 2. And Allen at 1. Lamar would typically be higher.
I have Lamar at 3. I don't really give a shit who he's playing, to be honest.
So I'm assuming you have Herbert 4, Dak 5?
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Dope. Let's get through some more comments.
Start Foreman or Lockett. I'm playing Kyle Lockett there. The
I'm
Commanders can't stop a nosebleed.
He's banged up. He's got the Q tag, and Foreman's got his own smash spot this week.
I still don't think it's a smash spot. I think the Panthers are going to be a lot tougher against the run than you think. It's kind of a revenge game sneakily for him as well.
That's fair. I was gonna say, the Bears are 3.5-point home favorites with Tyson Bagent at quarterback. How bad does Vegas think the Panthers are to make the freaking Bears 3.5-point favorites at home with Tyson Bagent. So I'm like, something's got to give here, man. Like the process
For what
would be
it's worth,
Foreman.
74% of the money's on Carolina covering that.
That's fair. It's fair. I have a feeling maybe I'm just a little bit blinded because I'm starting for him, but like I have the
I
feeling
think you
about
are
Foreman this
personally.
week.
I don't think he's
I'm
that
his
great
top
of a
20
player.
back. I mean, he's gonna get worse.
I do too. I have him at 20, but that's more so a reflection of the
18.
running back position missing a lot of guys.
Fair, and I mean, for what it's worth, I have Lockett more so as like a fringe top 36 guy, so you might have him higher than me. Do you have Lockett in like your top 25, 30?
Let me look.
He's currently like my wide receiver 37 to 38.
Yeah, I have him at 29.
Okay, yeah. So I just have Lockett a lot.
Dude,
I
the
actually
Commanders
33,
are awful.
They are.
that. Like awful.
They
That's
are.
why and generally speaking, like wide receiver 29 in my rankings versus running back 20 in my rankings is generally going to be one of a wide receiver 29 in any kind of PPR league. And especially knowing that we're missing some running backs, so RB20 is worse than it would be normally.
That's fair. Now I'm baking in like risk level with my Foreman rank. I want to rank him higher for the record too. He's 17 for me. You have where we left off.
Yeah. Should I start Foreman tonight or Jerome Ford? You
Foreman.
can start Foreman over Jerome Ford.
Yep.
Would you trade Tank Dell for 202 to 203?
I'd take the pick.
That's probably
I like Dell,
about his value, give or take. I think that's a fair trade either way. So if you really like Dell, I would hold him. But I think if you wanted to get out of Dell, that's probably about what he's worth.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I like Tank Dell and think he's probably going to work out, dude, this wide receiver class, like what type of wide receiver are you getting at the 202, 203?
Yeah, that's pretty much the conversation. It's how much do you believe in this class? Because the 202, 203, like I would take Xavier Worthy straight up over Tank Dell. And I think that's probably about the receiver you're looking at and potentially even better.
Even Adonai Mitchell is probably going to go in the first round.
Well, Xavier Worthy is better than Adonai Mitchell. So
no, but I mean, like I'm saying, like you got both Texas receivers. I mean, if people are sour on
Odunze, Neighbors, Harrison,
like Buka, Neighbors, Coleman,
Franklin, like
it's
the receiver class is pretty strong. And that's like, again, like if we get four or five first round quarterbacks, like it's curtains, you're going to get RB2 or like wide receiver 3 in the fucking 202.
This is honestly just shaping up like another 2020, bro. So I want every one of my early mid-twos.
I hope so.
Want every one of those early mid-twos. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep ripping.
Also, I don't know why Sleeper's Alexander Madison projection is like 4 points higher than James Cook's. Like his projection is higher than Bijan's in this half PPR league that I'm in.
Dude, Chuba Hubbard's is higher than.
Why does everyone have a hard on for Alexander Madison? Because he's had like one half decent game this entire season.
Dude, the amount of times I've roasted Dylan about him.
I know he's trying to sell him right now. Zay Flowers, Gabe Davis, or JSN. I have Gabe Davis the highest of this group.
Same.
Pick 3 non-PPR. So standard, Bijan, Josh Jacobs,
First
Monty,
3.
Foreman, Ramondre Stevenson. I would be rolling with the first 3 guys, Bijan, Jacobs, and Montgomery.
Same. That's got some high upside, low risk there, in my opinion.
Yeah, Chuba or Foreman tonight.
He's super
I think we already answered this one, but Chuba would be my answer.
Higgins is hurt again. Yes, he is, Beanie Weenie.
Yeah, Higgins tweaked his hamstring in practice.
Already ruled out.
Apparently.
Already ruled out.
Already ruled out.
Already ruled out.
Really?
I believe I got a report saying that he's expected to sit.
Where did you see that? I see Jamar Chase has a chance to play in week 10.
Expected to miss. That's what it was 3 hours ago. He's expected to miss.
Jeez, dude. Our fucking FFPC team, the Bengals triple stack of Burrow.
Did we
get Boyd this week at the very least?
Did we get Boyd? No, I don't think.
I hope so.
I told. Fuck. I said to pick up Boyd.
Oh,
did we get him? Where are we ripped?
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at our lineup right now. I don't see him, so we're probably fucked. We got Douglas a couple weeks ago, though.
Oh, that's who we got instead of him, then probably.
Or unless he was this week. Is Boyd still on the wire?
Might have to pick him up.
I don't know how to fucking navigate this dog shit.
Oh, dude, it's such a bad platform. By the way, we're probably cooked because we're literally already missing our Dolphins and our DeAndre Swift this week too.
Yeah, I mean, we might just have to take the L this week by the looks of it.
Yeah, might look like it.
If we squeaked out a win this week, it'd be pretty much a miracle.
Burrow and K9 too much for ETN. Hit the like, appreciate that. And I think it's too much. I think Burrow alone is a top 5 quarterback rest of the season. Like, this feels too stingy.
Sorry, there's no way you're actually saying that ETN's not worth this.
Really?
Yeah, I would take ETN easily over Burrow and K9.
Really, eh?
Yeah. We're talking about like a high-end RB2 who's losing all of his work and who's already banged up for...
Yeah, no.
Like,
I think it's just a good
option. But like, where are you drafting Burrow if we redrafted the season right now, the 4th round? Like, ETN's a first-round pick.
No, you're right. I think the it's just the name of Kenneth Walker stuns you. Because in reality, he's not what you think he would be. Because, I mean, literally just 3 weeks ago, this guy was a top 7 running back rest of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, man. It's fucking ETN.
I can't believe he was on my roster for like 3 hours, and I sold him at the highest point he was possibly at because I got Pollard in London for him, basically. So,
I mean, with that being said, I play him in my home league this week, so you know he's scoring 3 touchdowns. It's happening. Against Washington, it's happening. Fuck. Wow.
Space says I got to choose between Chuba and Montgomery. Does Montgomery play tonight? Well, he's not playing tonight, but
I go Monty.
I think, well, here's the conundrum is, do I play Chuba tonight? Because I don't know if Montgomery's going to play, but Montgomery's been a full participant in practice. So I would just trust Montgomery, to be honest.
All right. Yeah.
Foreman or Keaton Mitchell, thoughts? I mean, if you're talking about a start sit decision, you start Foreman. Jalen Warren or James Conner. I am not 100% convinced Conner plays this week. Do we got reports that he's going to play?
I don't think so. I mean, he practiced. He returned to practice.
It says nearing return. Designated to return. They waived Tony Jones today.
I mean, that's a good sign then. So he's probably
it's definitely a good sign. I'd probably, I mean, you don't have to make this decision now. I would probably just roll with Warren, and then if Connor's back, you play him.
Yep.
Flex play advice, Foreman or JSN. I would say play Foreman and don't put him in your flex because he plays tonight.
Yep. Put Foreman in your RB2 slot. You know, motivate him.
Finally coming down from that high of smoking on that hitting the Jay Jettas pack 3rd week. You love that.
One of the dumbest freaking slates I've ever seen. Like, dude, not Tank Down. Noah Brown freaking more than doubling Tyreek Hill. Like, whatever. Good games.
That's funny as shit, dude.
Once I saw Deontay score a touchdown on Thursday Night Football, I'm like, okay, no, I'm probably fucked, man. It's just not meant to be. Like, that guy never scores touchdowns, but it happens against me, of course.
You know what I'm still pissed about? In my Can't Wait Dynasty League, I was at the 109, and I was really debating just taking a Zay Flowers over Quentin Johnston for to flatten out my exposure because I had a lot of Quentin Johnston. And if I had done that, this team would be so much better than it is right now.
Dude, the only league I got 2 Quentin Johnson shares.
I got 3, and I sold 1 already. So at least I got out of 1 share of him.
I got 2, but one of them's in the Lazio League best ball, dude. I'm 9-0, and my team is just unreal. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, I want to say I have like Bijan, Lamar, Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews. Like, it's fucked.
I can't remember what league I sold QJ in, but do you remember the trade that it was? We reviewed it on the show.
I remember you just wanted out of them.
I sold 1 share of them, and now I got to go to my Dynasty Leagues spreadsheet because I can't remember what league it was.
Nuke, appreciate the super sticker. He says, wide receiver 2 in flex. I have DJ Moore, Flowers, Kincaid, Addison. Other tight end is Kittle. For starters, I would go with Kincaid over Kittle. So, assuming this is Kincaid at the tight end spot instead of Kittle, and our options are DJ Moore, Flowers, Addison, and Kittle, which 2 are you leaning here, Bush? DJ Moore for sure is in for me. And then it's between Flowers, Addison, and Kittle. Probably Kittle.
Yeah, I think I go Kittle and Addison.
Like,
or no,
Debo,
sorry, just Kittle. Yeah, just Kittle, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, you'd have DJ Moore and Kincaid.
Moore and then one of these guys.
Yeah, interesting question though.
Also, can I point this out? I'm just now realizing that I made this trade because I made it on May 12th during the rookie draft. I traded the 108 and the 202 for the 107 and the 205. Do you care to know which players those became?
You got Addison Laporta. He got Quentin Johnston and
I'll be impressed if you nail this one because you got 3 of 4 so far. That is what I
figured
got.
I got 3 or
Addison
4
in Laporta.
Now, the hint I'll ask is the 202, was it like a huge bust or is it a fucking like somebody that's
I would
popped
say it's
off?
a huge bust so far. Yeah.
So far, okay.
We were not
Michael
ranking him
Mayer.
this high, but he was going this high.
Oh, so he was going this Mingo.
Yeah. So
Jesus
I traded
Christ.
during the rookie draft because I didn't want so much Quentin Johnston. I traded up from 108 to get Jordan Addison at 107, and I gave up the 202 and got the 205 back. And that trade has become Addison and Sam Laporta for Jonathan Mingo and Quentin Johnston.
That guy probably is pounding his keyboard.
I didn't notice that I made this trade until just now.
Oh, dear God. Dear God. Yeah, you took that guy to the woodshed. Cody, if you have a comment, feel free to leave it. We're kind of just, going through it right now. So let me know. What time are we at? We just like cooked.
What time are we at? I think we're still at like 7:30. Like we're not doing the greatest at the moment.
Love you, boys.
Find what league I made this QJ trade.
Hey, Cody, 5 in a row. Let's go. You don't contemplate sitting Bijan. You don't. You can't.
Yeah. I also made another. Dude, how many 108s did I have, dude? I made another 108 trade during the rookie draft. I traded away Quentin Johnston, the 108, for Zay Flowers, the 109 in our. This was FSC
league.
Listener League.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I traded down from 108 to 109, and I took Zay and I pocketed the mid-second round pick. Or no, sorry. I think this was Brock that made this trade with me, and I think he's like tanking.
He is. He just wanted a QJ share.
Hold on. Let me see where that pick is.
That 202 or that second round pick? Whose pick was it? Do you remember whose pick was it?
I'm looking. It's your pick. It's your pick.
Oh,
so it's late, but I mean, we take Zay Flowers at a late second over Quentin Johnson any day of the week.
Love you.
The game is on.
Oh yeah, you're starting Bijan. Yeah. By the way, I appreciate you guys.
I found the trade. Ugh. I traded Quentin Johnston, a late first, which was my own, an early second for Travis Etienne, the 301, and Miles Sanders because I was competing. So I got off of Quentin Johnston. I traded my own first and an early second for basically Etienne and a third rounder and Sanders. I wanted Etienne. I needed a running back production.
You know what's funny looking back, bro? You know Tone Setter Truthers? So same type of thing with AJ. If I remember it right, I traded away the 108, which became Quentin Johnston, the 212, which I forget I think it was like Chase Brown or something he took, and Wan'Dale Robinson for Travis Etienne.
Oof.
But yeah, no, here's Brock in the chat. So he had some Flowers. He didn't have a single QJ. I mean, at least you only had one QJ now. I
think I only have one QJ now. I'm pretty sure I only have one now. I think Can't Wait's the only share I have.
Yeah, for sure. But we are at kickoff,
but I was poised to have like 4 if I didn't trade down from some 108s or trade up from some 108s. I traded up with one and I traded down with another, and then I took 2 QJs and then I sold one of the QJs. So I'm glad I'm almost out.
For sure.
I did it with JMO too. I mean, I sold I had 3 shares of JMO and I sold them all.
I think Brown's crumbled Bush. Who's that? Brown's.
Oh, Browns. We're gonna go to Browns. It's a sports bar by our place.
I was like, what's wrong with the Browns, bro?
Yeah, I mean they are crumbling as a franchise, but no, he's referring to the bar send that we were gonna have for the game. Anyways, the game has started. Good luck to everybody. If you have Foreman, if you have Hubbard, whoever you got going, definitely. Hopefully, you get some fantasy points. Hopefully, my bets hit as well. I think I got Thielen anytime touchdown, under 62.5 rushing yards for Foreman. I have receiving yardage for Roschon Johnson. I think it was 7.5, the higher on that. And then something else too. I can't remember what the other bet was.
Yeah, and real quick, I didn't even watch the game, but I just saw my sleeper update that apparently DJ Moore just caught a 16-yard catch in the first play.
Oh, you love to see that.
Revenge game, baby.
All right. I'm heading off then. Take it easy.
Take care.